And there's always a few insects that are kind of left out on a lot of a lot of books and stuff when you're trying to look at patterns. It's always the chironomids and always this and that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this one slips in, and I haven't thought of this fly in years. It was in the old books.
That's
the
right.
boatman.
Water boatman. It's an important food source. It's not a food source that eat every day, that trout eat every day, but it is important in the spring, particularly in early spring, and particularly in lakes that freeze over for the winter, because water boatmen survive under the ice even though they're air-breathing insects. There's always pockets of air under the ice. So the day the ice comes off the lake, there's food, water boatmen. And so they're good then. And they're very good in the early to mid-fall when water boatmen go on swarming and mating flights to continue their reproductive cycle. And they're dive bombing into the lake. The trout are looking up, they see them, get some great action at the surface, and then down deep.
Do you know, I mean, is there some indication that this is happening, or just something you have to have experience on?
Typically you'll see water boatmen flying around because they're air breathers. They can also fly from one lake to another. It'll be a very calm afternoon, sunny, and you'll start seeing raindrops hitting the water, and there isn't a rain cloud within 50 miles of you, but it's boatmen or backswimmers, they're cousins, backswimmers that are hitting the water.
So you want to have some of these.
Absolutely. This is a simple pattern to tie.
Simple.
Very simple, but effective.
You're going to tie the peacock version of this.
The peacock water boatman, you betcha.
And you're not going to use peacock curl?
No, we're going to use peacock crystal chenille, a little flashier.
All right, that sounds good. Let's take it away for the boatman.
Water boatmen are another important food source of trout in still waters. They're particularly important early in the spring and then during the early fall period. In the spring, trout like to eat them because water boatmen survive under the ice if a lake freezes over in the wintertime. They're air breathers, but they come up and there's always air pockets under the ice. So when the day the ice comes off, there's water boatmen swimming around on the shoals and the little zones of the lake, and the trout will feed on them. In the early fall, water boatmen and their cousins backswimmers go on mating and swarming flights where they'll lay eggs and move the population around. And when they hit the water at that time of the year, they make a great food source for the trout. I'm going to show you how to tie a peacock water boatman, a very simple pattern, yet effective. I'm going to be using a number 14 or number 12 curved shrimp caddis hook. I've got 8/0 black tying thread. The legs on the water boatman, because they have a pair of elongated hind legs, I'm going to be using a piece of the midge stretch floss in dark summer duck. The body of this fly is going to be peacock crystal chenille. Okay, so it's the crystal chenille is flashy, and you want that glitter in it because when water boatmen dive into the water, they take a bubble of air and they have a shiny mirror-like appearance as they're diving down. Okay, so to start this fly, I'm going to be using some Stillwater Solutions light olive dyed pheasant tail for the back or the shell back. Form a base first with my tying thread, and I'm bringing the thread back to the eye of the hook. I'm going to take the pheasant tail and I'm going to lay it down from the eye, behind the eye, all the way back to the bend of the hook. So, and then I'll be folding it over, finish the fly. I'm going to take the crystal chenille now, and I'm going to lay it along the back as well, the bend, and then I'm going to form my body. Fairly close together, get it up just behind the eye of the hook. So you can see how this material glitters in the water. So I've got my body. I'm just going to lay the pheasant tail over the back, pull on it pretty good, under tension as we cinch it down. Clip that off. So, take our whip finisher, finish the fly off. So now we're going to take our mid-stretch floss, and what I've done is I've threaded it through a needle. Okay, so I'm going to take the needle now. These will be the legs. Do all the action, and I'm just going to put the needle through the material to the crystal chenille, below the shank of the hook, kind of wiggle around to poke it through, like that. And we're just going to pull her through. And then we're going to get like this, and we're going to adjust. I'm just going to trim it off, and we want the legs fairly long because long sweeping action, it's something that attracts the attention of the trout. So just going to move it through, like so, trim it off. So I'd say if we're looking at how long these legs should be, they're about 1 1/4 times the shaft length of the hook. So now we've got a very simple pattern, but it has all the prerequisites to attract the attention of the fish. A shiny body, which imitates the trapped bubble of air. It's got the long legs, and that help it swim through the water. Early spring, and then early in the fall, when these insects go on swarming or mating flights. And I'll just take a look at this fly to give you an idea how shiny it is and the body proportions. There you go. The best way to fish this fly, ideally, is with a full sinking line, a type 2 or type 3 full sinking line. Casting out as far as you can, and then allowing the belly in the line to form. So we're not using density compensated lines or uniform sink lines. Normal sinking fly lines, the belly will sink faster than the tip because it's heavier. We'll get this nice belly in the line, and once we get the belly formed, we'll do fast 4 to 6 inch strips. And what we're doing is we're pulling the fly down and then pulling it back up, just like the real insect swims through the water.